The other day I got asked a question, Jace, what do I think is the worst performing or going to be the worst performing set in the Scarlet and Violet era? They said to me, look, you always keep going on about what is great, what's going to go up, what's going to boom, what's going to, get me loads of money, and all this sort of stuff. Not everything's going to be amazing. We've seen it in the Sword and Shield era. If you picked up stuff like Vivid Voltage, Dance Blaze, even Battle Styles, yes, they've gone up, but they're very, very slow. Champion's Path is a set that's gone nowhere. And you look at Pokemon Go, pretty bad, right? So there are going to be sets. And it is the same with every era, right? You go back to Sun and Moon, Crimson Invasion, trash. Guardians Rising, trash. So there are some sets that are terrible. And they don't perform anywhere near as good. And they will not see that really good long term. So today, we could be taking a look. We're going to TCG Player. We're going to be having a look at some Scarlet and Violet era sets, which I think will be the weaker ones in the future, right? I kind of feel like they're I wouldn't say they're terrible because I feel like Scarlet and Violet is very, very good. And even in the Sword and Shield era, like I liked Battle Styles and I liked Vivid Voltage, but they just didn't perform very, very well. So then these aren't like really bad, but I just think these will not perform anywhere near as good as some of the others. And I'll go through why as well. So strap in and let's get to it. Right, we got the Scarlet and Violet sets here, of course. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one. So we're talking about really not the worst sets, but the sets that probably will not perform as good as some of the big top dogs of the Scarlet and Violet era. So the first one we'll talk about today is going to be Stellar Crown. I think Stellar Crown is going to be one that will not be that great. Okay, now yes, you could be saying, but Chase, look, it's $217 a booster box right now, and you're like, yeah, I know, but we'll go through and we'll explain why I think that isn't going to be that sustainable in the future. So with Stellar Crown, one thing I've noticed with Stellar Crown is things don't sell that quickly with Stellar Crown. Where it would be the ETB, where it would be the Pokemon Center ETB, and even the booster boxes, especially we found that here in the UK. Now, yes, $217 is expensive for a set that isn't that old in the grand scheme of things, but I do think this will get reprinted and I do think prices will fall. And another big factor is the fact that, like, everything Scarlet and Violet is just gone up, right? And it's hard to some extent to pinpoint which sets is this going to hold for, right? Will Stellar Crown hold over $200 a booster box in the next 6 to 12 months, right? That's what we want to look at. I don't know, right? Is Stellar Crown going to be a set that's going to perform very well in 5 to 10 years? The question is, yes, but will it perform as good as some of the other sets? And I just don't think it will. I just don't think that Stellar Crown has it in it, really, and have the cards that people want to carry this set. And that does play a huge part, is what value is in these sets. So we're going to PokeJace.io, and this will give us the information that we're looking for, which is $400 for the entire set, okay? And if you look here, we don't have a single card that's $50. The Squirtle's even dropped below 50. We're seeing not a lot of value to be found in this set. They could be saying to me, yeah, but Jace is a small set, so it's not going to have anywhere near as much, value as a Surging Sparks, for example. And you're like, yeah, that's true, but still the value is not that great in this set. Even the illustration rares aren't that expensive. It's a bit of a letdown in the grand scheme of things. Now, don't get me wrong, it's got my favourite card of the whole of the Scarlet and Violet era in it, the Dash Button. But of course, you've got the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur as well. But yeah, overall, it's just not really performing. And $410 is very poor, right? Even for a small set, it is poor. So I don't see this one really being one of the best sets. I think this will be one of the weaker ones, one of the lower tier ones in an era which is very, very good. Okay, next set. That's Stellar Crown. Next set is, of course, Shrouded Fable. This set is an interesting one. I mean, I just kind of feel like people just don't really care about this set that much. For me, there isn't really anything that jumps out at me that's amazing, right? Persian's okay, but Houndoom's nice, but just isn't. $61 though has gone up 10% over the past 3 months, and over the past 6 months it's gone up 64%, which is ridiculously impressive. So I do feel like this is a weaker set, right? If this is a very strong era, there's a lot of very good performing sets. There's going to be weak ones. There's going to be, it's just the way, right? It is better than Pokemon Go. Is it better than Champion's Path? I don't know. I mean, Champion's Path does have 2 really big Charizards, and that's it really. But I don't know. It's a tough one to judge. Is it going to be as good as Shining Fates, for example? Now, Shining Fates took a long time to bounce back. But I think Shining Fates is better than Shrouded Fable. But yeah, I mean, if you compare the rest of the Scarlet and Violet era, though, to Shrouded, this is poor. This set is really, really poor. And I just don't think it's going to be that great. I would rather spend my money elsewhere. I mean, yes, $61 isn't exactly a very high entry point, which is fine. But I just think that you could spend your money elsewhere and it will perform better. So when we look at the set of Shrouded Fable, it's got decent value. I mean, it's $630, which is no joke. And it's not a big set either. So it does have a somewhat decent value, way better than Stellar Crown in my opinion. But if you look at the cards, again, no cards over $50, which is a shame, but we've got a lot more value spread out across a whole bunch more cards in this set, which is pretty good. But overall, I think the special illustration rares of the set is very lackluster. The fact that the biggest cards in the set are gold cards, like energy cards, it's kind of lame. So yeah, for me, I just think that it doesn't really have that much going for it. I mean, it's got a good amount of playable cards, and that's great, and that's what's holding a lot of the values of a lot of the smaller cards in the set to kind of buff it up. But I think it will fall. I think the overall value of Shrouded Fable will go down, and the desire will go down. I just don't... We're nearly a year from this set, and it's okay. But I don't think it's good. Will it be better than Stellar Crown? I'm going to say probably not. Booster boxes tend to be a bit better anyway, but I do think Stellar Crown is better than Shrouded Fable. Okay, next set we're going to talk about, which I think might not do that great in the long run, is Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames, it's doing well right now, okay? Is in the booster boxes, $236. But it's because of its age, I think, more than anything. I think, like, you look at Obsidian Flames, and this is a set where it was kind of a Darkness Ablaze 2.0. I mean, it's seen really good growth recently, like 18% of the past 3 months. Over the past 6 months, gone up 77%. Over the past years, got up 126%. But the way I see Obsidian Flames is I kind of think that it is better than Darkness Ablaze. It is. It's similar, but it's better. There are just better sets in this era, right? If you had to compare other sets, right? Compare the other sets in this era. Obsidian over Temporal. Which one is better? Temporal. This compared to Paradox. Paradox is better. This compared to Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved's better. This better to Twilight. This is Twilight's better. So on and so forth. The sets I think that's probably maybe worse than Obsidian Flames would probably be Shrouded Fable. And I think that Stellar Crown and Obsidian are kind of a bit neck and neck in my opinion of potentially being some of the weakest sets in the Scarlet and Violet era down the line. Personally, I wouldn't spend this money on Obsidian Flames. I'd rather spend this much money and probably go for something like just a stronger performer set. Maybe something like Paldea Evolved or something like that would be pretty good. But yeah, I think Obsidian is... the value is just not there. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at the value. $278. Yes, it's a small set, like Stellar Crown, like Shrouded Fable, but it's not even $300. You could buy a master set $40 more than a booster box. Crazy to think that you could get an entire set for near enough the same price as a single booster box. But don't get me wrong, the booster box is doing very well, but the value of the set is not great. And I don't expect it to be very good either. Now, of course, we've seen tons of sets throughout time be a lot more expensive still than they are with the cards inside. That's fine, like, whatever. But for me, I do feel like it is a poor performance set. Even though the Charizard is fantastic and that Ninetales is gorgeous, I just don't see it performing anywhere near as good as some of the other sets in Scarlet and Violet era. This is at that level of Shrouded Fable. It's one of the reasons why I put it quite low in a tier list I did a few months back. It's just not it, guys. It's just not it. Okay, and lastly, I think there's probably one more set which I think might not do that great in the long term. And you may be thinking, Jace, really? Do you really think it's not going to perform that well in the long term? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it will. And I think that's Journey Together. I don't think Journey Together will be as good as some of the other sets in the future. I just don't see it happening. We're looking at enhanced booster boxes at $205, which is expensive. It does come with a promo, so take off the price of the promo, you're probably looking at what, like $180, $190 a box. For me, I just kind of feel like this was overhyped, and this came out, of course, during the hype. This is going to get reprinted, and it's going to fall like crazy. It's like in the UK, it's already MSRP. You could see Journey Together booster boxes fall under MSRP. I don't know. I just kind of feel like I think this is definitely better than Stellar Crown. I think this is definitely better than Obsidian and Shrouded. but I would say this is like the highest of the bottom, really, of all the other sets. I think all the other sets, including Scarlet and Violet base, I think all the other sets have the potential, apart from the ones we already went through today, to be more successful than Journey Together. When we look at the set, we're looking at $711, which again is pretty good. It is a small set, bear in mind, right? So it's a lot more than Obsidian, it's a lot more than Stellar, and it's a little bit more than Shrouded Fable, but this is still relatively new, and it hasn't had anywhere near enough reprints to lower the value of the set even more and lower the value of the booster boxes. It's still too early, and already we're seeing the value of this set again hammered down. Now, I'm not going to say it's terrible. I think that it's better than the other sets we named, but I would say that it's super cautious right now to pick up any Journey Together because of the potential reprints, which could make things fall even further and could hurt the set long run. And sets have been hurt in the past by heavy reprints. We've seen it happen. Shining Fates, prime example. And some sets bounce back from heavy reprints, right? Even Evolving Skies got heavily printed. Hidden Fates, another example, heavily printed, bounced back incredibly well. It all depends. I think there's a fantastic artwork in the set. The artwork really is incredible for a lot of stuff, but a part of me has a feeling that Journey Together could be one of the weaker sets. Not the weakest, definitely not. I think that crown will go to Shrouded Fable, but I do think this will probably not one of the best performing sets in the long run. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts and opinions on sets that might not be as great to get compared to others. And I'll be doing another video. I'll be going through some of the best booster boxes or best sets to go for. I'll probably do that. I mean, we'll probably wait till Black Bolt and White Flare come out, and then we'll do that. I'll do an updated tier list. I do want to do an updated tier list at some point once those two sets are out, and then we can do the whole Scarlet and Violet era and rank it all. Right now, I do feel like Shrouded Fable, Obsidian, Stellar Crown are the weakest ones, and then a weaker honorable mention would be Journey Together. I do feel like some of the other sets can be quite close to Journey, but I think will perform better, like Temporal, Paradox, I would say will be better performing sets. Even Base Set, I think, has that potential to be better than Journey Together. But yeah, you could put Base Set as an honorable mention as well, but I think Base Set is actually a pretty strong set with some fantastic illustration rares in it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. Just like people didn't expect a lot of the sets in Sword and Shield era to jump up as much as they did. But right now, I do feel like these would be my picks for the somewhat weaker sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. If it's fun of the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe for more Pokemon content, guys. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think is the weakest sets in the Scarlet and Violet era? Do you think I got them right? Or do you think I'm missing some sets? Would you change stuff around? Who would you have in here for being one of the more poorer performing sets in the long run? I kind of feel like a lot of people are on board with Shrouded Fable being pretty weak. Same with Obsidian. Could be a little bit different regarding, Stellar Crown, Journey, and Base. But overall, those are my thoughts. And yeah, be interested to see what you guys think. But if you want more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.